Hello, world. We are here with Breaking Slabs. This podcast sponsored by King Louis Meat Apostle. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Doing good.
How's Brian tonight?
Good. Mayhem Monday's been put to bed, so I'm good.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad Monday. So first off, I guess we're going to kick off Mother's Day weekend with a woman in barbecue this week. How are you doing, Katie?
Doing good. Tired. We had a very long day yesterday, and then Monday, normal Monday. So tired.
Did you guys cook yesterday?
Yeah, brisket and chicken.
Oh wow!
For comp or at home?
Practice.
Made for KC practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys have that coming up. Is that June that Made for Casey is?
Yes, June 9th, 10th.
Yeah,
That
June,
weekend?
June 9th and 10th. Yeah.
Oh, that's the same weekend that I'm organizing that competition. Okay. So, but first off, I guess we'll talk to Katie. What is your role on the team now? Because you kind of went from the woman of barbecue to doing steaks to some ancillary. So now, what is your official role?
I mean, a little bit of everything. This year, my main focus is on the ancillaries and on judging as well. I wanted to, we took that judging class mainly to help us cook, but I want to get out there and judge because I feel like it can only help us compete for me to taste other competitors' work.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then, it's helping Zach being the organized one of the team and writing out the timelines and packing up and keeping him sane.
So, it's funny because we're both Irish, and I'm definitely the stereotypical one where I'm hot-tempered, I will fly off the handle, I will spin out of control, and she is very calm, very collected. And so, like, if something hiccups in the comp and I start to, really go off the deep end, she's always right there to reel me back in and kind of get me to focus. Because sometimes I'll start to nitpick something and start to go off the rails. I get in my own head. It's a terrible habit I have.
Yep.
And she's really good on keeping me focused and will get me back to get done what needs to get done so we can finish.
I loved the ancillary video. Where was that? Altoona, whatever, the burger competition, and everyone's congratulating Zach, and you're like, he lit the pit with all he did.
It's true.
It really is.
He lit the pit and then stood there and talked to our neighbors the whole time while I was cooking, and then walked away before turning even happened. So I didn't even have someone to open the door for me or anything.
I mean, she said she didn't want any help and she wanted to do it, so I took that very literal, and I was just goofing with Scott Parkins and drinking beer and hanging out with Joey and Drew from Furlongs, and then so she really can't hold that against me too bad. I mean,
So that was the contest that made you buy your trailer, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it was so windy up there. We had 3 cinder blocks on each leg. Mm-hmm. And our tent was still moving.
It's bad.
It was, we went away for a few hours and came back, and it was probably at least a foot.
Oh yeah,
moved.
Yeah, it kept shifting
this way.
Wow.
I just saw, in my head, our first major KCBS comp, the tent went flying in the air, and I could just see it happening again.
Yeah, that was Osage City in 21.
I still have PTSD from it.
Yeah.
So
So we went and got that U-Haul, which was really all credit to that goes to Joey and Drew. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like, I thought that they were kind of being smart-assed, and they weren't. They're like, why don't you go rent a U-Haul? And it hit us. We're like, that's a great idea. Like, that's a really, because it'll act like it'll be a trailer, right? And we were really blessed that we were able to secure one. We went immediately, picked it up, brought it back, and we cooked that comp out of that trailer. Yeah. She did the burger comp Friday night out of that U-Haul.
And we pulled into the parking lot with the U-Haul right as the cooks meeting for the burger was happening. So like it was down to the wire.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I will say one thing: once you've cooked a comp out of a trailer, it's hard to go back to just an easy up.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. The first comp we'll be able to take it to will be Cameron this year.
Yeah. Now, what's
guys
the
got some
name
work?
of your trailer?
So we got our name from our favorite TV show that we are obsessed with, Breaking Bad. And so that's how we got, when we had to change our name, or when we chose to change our name on the middle of last season, then we chose Breaking Slabs because of that. We thought it was a clever play off that show. And plus, we couldn't agree on any other name to begin with. And that was like the first one that we actually agreed on together, because I had ideas and she had ideas, and we didn't like either, of the ideas. And so we went with Breaking Slabs. Well, because of them cooking the meth out in the New Mexico desert, we decided to name the trailer the Crystal Ship off of the RV. So we're gonna get a decal on the front of the nose of the trailer. It's gonna say the Crystal Ship.
Nice.
You should put something in the back about how expensive barbecue is or how you're paying for it.
I was rewatching Breaking Bad not too long ago. I was like, Zach, how do you cook meth? Because we need to avoid this barbecue somehow.
I mean, I'm from the Ozarks originally, so I should probably be able to figure it out.
Well, you got to buy a car wash then. You got to launder money with that.
Exactly.
I said that my
barbecue
first
ain't cheap.
I said at the second comp I was in, it was in Colombia, and I was like, why am I doing this? But I'm like, it's got to be cheaper than meth. That's what I said the whole time. But
Yep.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you guys had a pretty good cook at the Royal. How was that overall? Because that's where you guys qualified for Worlds at, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just treated like any other comp. Wanted to have a good kickoff to the season. I felt like if we really had a good showing, that was going to kind of hopefully pace the rest of our year. And we cooked it and had a couple buddies of mine come up and help us out. And she did steak, and I did the backyard Q. And we liked both of our entries. I liked our chicken more.
Mm-hmm.
We got more compliments on our chicken than we did our ribs. I thought the ribs were good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I thought our chicken was definitely really, really going to get us a call.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as it always, it didn't. And then the rib call happened, and I mean, I did not. I'd be lying if I said I saw that coming. I didn't. We felt we had a good cook, but the ribs, they hit really. That was the highest rib score we'd ever gotten up to this point.
Nice.
And got us our Worlds bid. And that was, I told her, I said, what's so great about qualifying first comp of the year is it takes that pressure off. Like we don't have to be chasing it anymore. We can have more relaxed cooks and not be worrying about trying to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said when I got mine in September. I was like, all right, I can focus the beginning of next year just cooking, not having to worry about having that pressure on my back. And
yeah.
Because if I overthink things and try too hard, then I really overthink things.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm my absolute worst critic, and I put so much pressure on me. And I've got people all the time telling me, you got to cut that out. And I try. I've gotten better. I think I've gotten better with it.
Yeah.
But I still will always nitpick. I nitpicked during our practice cook yesterday. I mean, it's just how I am. I'm always trying to be as best and polished as I can, even in practice. And so I will focus on the negative and not really focus on the positive. But I'm trying to get into a more consistent positive headspace, because you have to be mentally tough to do this.
Yeah.
So are you cooking a category in Altoona, Katie, or are you cooking the turkey, or what's your plan for Worlds?
We haven't talked about it yet. Our original plan going into this year was that Zach was going to take the barbecue side and I was going to take the ancillary side. So I probably will take care of the ancillaries at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they are, but I'll figure it out.
Turkey and beans, maybe? No, for fact, turkey.
Cocktail.
Cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah,
It's cocktail. So yeah, it's
that'll be a fun practice.
yeah, that'll be that's right.
You need somebody to test
I'm
you, I'll
gonna
be
cook the
over there.
open this year.
Yeah, if you need somebody to test some cocktails, I'll be over there a little bit. No, that's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to that contest.
Yeah, same.
So I'm going to kind of switch gears on that. I was talking to Alan about it a little bit. What was your feelings with the whole backyard matters and backyard with them moving the contest and moving the date on that? I know the KCBS got a lot of backlash on that.
Personally, and this is going to probably set off my buddies in the Mid-Atlantic, but I didn't have a problem with it personally. What I do wish, obviously, we like the location, right? I mean, I told her it could be December in Alaska, and we're going. Like this is something you don't take for granted. You qualify. You make every effort.
That's what I
go.
said.
At least that's our feeling on it, right?
Yep.
We love the location, so it's close for us, closer for us. It's gonna be hot. I mean, that's just the Midwest in August. Anywhere you go, it's going to be probably 90 plus degrees and humid. I would much rather cook in heat than cold, so I'm okay with that. What I do wish KCBS would do is just have a set. It's always going to be the third weekend of August, or there's a standardized date. You don't have to have it always at the same location necessarily, but I think if they would standardize the date, then it would give organizers a chance to plan around it. And I know there was a lot of consternation on comps having to be reorganized because they kind of sprung it on competitions that had already been scheduled and entries were paid. I mean, so in summation, I don't have a problem with what they did, but I think going forward, they need to say it's always going to be this weekend, and then people can plan for it accordingly, so that they'll have a better turnout.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. That was my biggest beef is let's just pick a weekend and set it and be done with it.
Yeah.
So you guys cook on Gateway still?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just bought 2 more.
Yep.
I saw
brand
that
new
for the
gateways.
Yeah, made for KC. What made you guys decide to enter that one?
It was
the meat was they're giving you the meat free, so it's that's part of the reason why we're not in Masters is just because it's so expensive for.
I have my
meat.
thoughts on the meat, but
we're talking about why we entered, not
honestly,
your feelings.
there was we had been kind of following it. We're friends with Brad and Bree.
Yep. And
we saw how it has completely changed their life, and we see all the positives that come out of that. And I'll be honest with you, I was talking to Ashton Farley one night, and we were both kind of talking like, you know what, like maybe we should do just kind of kick, like not being serious, like, right. We were just kind of just goofing around, like, yeah, maybe we should do it. And then on a complete, just impulsive move, I didn't tell her. I registered. No. I threw our name in the hat and said, hey, I did a thing. And
I found out from Facebook. That's how I found out we entered.
Yeah.
Facebook.
And
I sent him a text. I was like, we did a thing? Really?
Yeah.
If
you think like we had been planning on it since last year, no. It was totally like, I thought, why not? I thought backyard teams are eligible. We hit all the, requirements. Why not? Let's just see. Right. And if we get drawn, awesome. If we don't, this was a completely impulsive thing to begin with. And I'm not going to boo-hoo. I'll just go cook, bringing home the bacon. I mean, I said we're going to be cooking one way or the other that weekend. Either we're going to be in Wisconsin or we're going to be, here in town. And it just worked out that we got, lucky enough to be drawn.
Well, my thoughts on are even if you cook it, I mean, there's nothing negative about it. I mean, if you win, it's life-changing. And if not, well, you didn't lose anything out of it.
Yeah, it's just an entry fee. You don't have to buy any meat. So
yeah, no, we're really looking forward to that one. We're getting psyched up. We rented a toy hauler for it because you got to prep on site. My best friend in the world is coming up from Kate Gerardo to help us cook it.
I've been doing lots of different bacon recipes, trying to find out, because it's anything bacon and
cocktail.
Yep.
Bloody Marys.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Bloody Marys.
So we've been working on trying out different bacon recipes,
and
got 2 more coming up.
There's also five backyard teams were drawn, and so I know that I've talked to some of the other ones that got drawn, and we're excited to show what backyard is capable of doing. And all of the teams that qualified that are backyarders, we all kind of know what, like, it's more about just the individual teams. It's about something bigger, and that's what we're trying to show, is that we are just as capable of putting out Masters quality entries, and get away from being the redheaded stepchildren of KCBS.
Yeah,
that's what I just see. You and Hess and Robert Jackson and trying to remember the other one.
Devin
are competing in the Open, right?
So we're all teaming up for the Open together. Yeah.
What's your name for the Open?
No idea. I talked to Hess the other day. I mean, I talk to him every day anyway, but I said, hey, we got to put together a good name, for the 4 of us. Like I said, this will be my second kind of collaboration, because we went down to Cape back in January and did When Pigs Fly, and that was with Larimore and Wheeze, and we RGC'd that one.
Nice. We're doing our first collaboration as the Black Sheep, so
nice.
It's gonna be kind of
the combos that get put together for that one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's why we said the Black Sheep, because we're just like, whatever.
I don't know.
That's gonna be we're getting there on Thursday, and it's gonna be. We're really looking forward to that one, to seeing everybody and people that we usually talk to on social media and don't get to see. They'll be coming in for it, and it'll be a fun time.
It will be.
I'm hoping to get to meet some of the Mid-Atlantic teams I've never met before. I don't know how many of them are going to be there, but because I know they're not terribly happy with the location. But that's putting it lightly. Yes. No, I keep hoping that they would bring the Invitational back to Kemper, but I haven't had much cloud in that. But I guess it's not a campground, so they
I don't see any way that's possible. Not with how big it is, for how many days. I think personally I like where it's at. I've never been there, but from what I understand from talking to people who have cooked it for a lot of years, is it really is a good setup on the infield at the track. And like I said, I just don't see how you could have it back at Kemper. I get the tradition of it. I get where you're coming from on it. I just think now it's just too big to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get to Worlds like Thursday morning. I'm hoping to leave my house at like a decent time and get up there about noon on Thursday. It's only 2 hours, almost right at 3 hours to my house. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of some other questions. We kind of asked a bunch, but I'm kind of winging them as I go too. So, have you guys abandoned the steak competitions besides the Royal, or are you going to do any more?
I think KCBS kind of punted on that one before we did.
They did. They didn't last very long, did it?
I mean, we were using a gas grill. Grill top and oven to cook our steak, and we did sell that at our garage sale.
So
last weekend. So
I still got a PK though. We're not gonna. I mean, people that know us, last year we were all in, right? We had done SCA. God bless those teams who do well in SCA. We tried it. We did like 3 SCAs. Never could get the hang of it, and I think that's more us than anything. I have my thoughts on the judging.
I just don't understand their judging.
I think it's the most ass backwards thing, personally. And come at me if you disagree, but seriously, I just don't like it. And then when KCBS announced its own steak series, I mean, we were sold. We said, yes, this is gonna be great. We had done so well at the 21 state comp for the Backyard Royal, and we were like, okay, really, we can get in. And man, you would talk about a letdown. There were, I think, 10 comps total that got scheduled, and maybe only 6 happened. And we were signed up for Dodge. We were going to go all the way out to Dodge City, Kansas, and do that one. And we were literally the only team that signed up. And the organizer just straight told me that. About that time, we knew that it was
a flop.
It was the Titanic. I mean, it was just going down. And there was nothing you could do about it. And at that point, then we were just like, okay, half of our season is basically been a waste. And we switched to barbecue. We did that Juneteenth rib burn, and that was our first barbecue of 22. So, and then going into this season, she wanted to do the state comp, and we're like, no, we're not even gonna. I mean, they aren't having them anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But there was I have a ton of feelings on how that went down.
So you said that SCA is judged backwards. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's weird how you don't get to keep your scores. We've never got to keep our scores.
There's a lot
of categories,
a lot of criteria that they judge on, and some of them, like there's like 5 different things, and then an overall score, and then there's a bonus score of 0.1 to 0.9 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then the SCA compared to KCBS, you get Judge 1 gave you 989. With SCA, you just get your total for your taste and your total for your tenderness. So you don't know, was it 5 judges that really loved you and 1 judge that really, really hated you? Or did everyone kind of just think you were mediocre? You know? And there's no comment cards. So it was difficult for us to know where to go to get better.
If you have to use a card and literally hold up a card to show the doneness, bro. Like,
and there's no way to get that card unless you go to the judging class. So
yeah, exactly.
It's hard, how do I know if I'm getting the correct pinkness if I don't have your pinkness card?
Oh, was it more mauve than salmon? Like, get out of here with
they seriously have cards.
Like I said, it wasn't for us. It wasn't for us. Like I said, there are a ton of great SCA teams. We're sponsored by a brand that's primarily SCA, geared, and so like I said, I hats off to people who do well in it. We didn't, and we just were like, okay, like we gave it a whirl, and it's just we're moving on. Moving on.
Okay, so moving on. Which is your favorite category of the 2, chicken or ribs?
Ribs.
Yeah,
by far.
Not even close.
Chicken hates us, so we obviously hate chicken. I love eating chicken, but it just that stupid skin.
No, it's the devil.
Are you guys back at thighs, or are you guys? Because I know you were for a while. We're doing legs last year.
What didn't we do? We did everything except Cornish game hens.
How I was last year.
We're back on thighs though. We do our best scores are with thighs. So even though there's sucky scores, they're still better than our leg scores.
I mean,
so
hell, if pot pies had been a category, I probably would have tried them out too. I mean, why not?
It's kind of like turkey. If you could just throw some chicken.
Yeah, it was just we're back to thighs. We ran wings in Iowa, and I think it's one of those things where, from what I'm picking up, is that judges just aren't jiving with wings right now. Now, like I said, at least the people I've talked to, it's just not doing well. And we tried it. We thought, why not? Let's do it.
It makes me sad because of all of the chicken you can eat, chicken wings are my favorite. So it was great practice, and chicken thighs are my least favorite to eat. So chicken thigh practice I hate it.
Yeah. So but no, to answer your question, we're back to thighs.
That's how my wife is. She does not like barbecue chicken, really. Thighs, legs, whatever. So like it pretty much, if I cook chicken or ribs, she can give me good feedback on the ribs. I'm dead in the water on.
And I love barbecue chicken, like at a restaurant or whatever. Get a little Alabama white sauce on it. I mean, I love it. But comp, we just cannot. It is our Achilles heel. There is no doubt about it.
What's your favorite protein to cook?
At any competition wise,
Just any protein.
Backyard, anything you like to cook.
Beef ribs.
Beef ribs. I haven't had those in a couple years.
Beef ribs. I would say personally for me, beef ribs are my absolute favorite barbecue item to eat.
You cook a lot of lamb too, though, don't you?
We do. We do.
One thing I've never tried.
It's good.
It's good.
We've done.
I never had any till I met him, and let me tell you, it's good.
I cook a lot of lamb to begin with, but like I'll smoke lamb burgers sometimes. We smoked. It's been a while now. We did a leg of lamb. We smoked it. I try to get as creative as I can. I smoked a rabbit about a year ago just because I liked it. The kid liked it. Charlie loved it. But yeah, we do a lot of lamb. I think lamb is a really underutilized protein.
I think Australia, if I remember right, Adam York said that they do lamb in their competitions.
That's what Sterling said the other day, that he had to do lamb to win that contest in Australia.
Yeah, I think he did lamb racks, and we've done those. Those are fun. Used to be able to get them pretty cheap at Sam's, and they'd be Frenched. And I mean, you could get 2 racks for like, I think it was under $20 at one point. And now like I looked at them, they're like $50. And so we're not doing those lately.
That's why we haven't had lamb lately.
Yeah, lamb. I do like lamb.
That's
honey,
funny,
buy a sheep. We're gonna raise one.
That's funny,
Man,
Katie.
RHA probably went like that.
Yeah, they probably would not, but yeah.
The face you made when he mentioned rabbit was the face that my wife made when I smoked beef heart.
Oh,
she was like, no. I
No.
couldn't eat very much either of it. I just couldn't get past the looks of it.
I will try one bite, but that's why I've told him, like, you make something, I'll try one bite, but I cannot promise more than one.
I like to smoke chicken livers too.
Oh.
And she won't.
No. I tried a bite. No, never again.
No, throw a little home style on there. Great.
So speaking of home style, you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, so shout out to Aaron Stoffer, Christy Stoffer of Man Meat Barbecue, Will Collier and his family with DB180, Nick Broughton. We're also Team Sugar Creek. Sugar Creek wood products are the absolute best smoking wood in competition barbecue or any barbecue to begin with. Shout out to Dan Demery with State Farm in Platte City, Missouri. He kindly decided to sponsor us this season, and that is it. Yeah.
We're also, I guess, unofficially Jealous Devil.
We're unofficially.
We are chasing the Jealous Devil points and hoping to win.
We are not a Jealous
money.
Devil ambassador team, though.
No.
Yet, not yet.
Yet.
What they're doing right now is a really clever way to get people using their product without sponsoring. I think from a business standpoint, I think it's exceedingly savvy because they're getting all these people that are using their product that aren't normally sponsored by them, and we're all chasing.
And it probably is costing them the same amount as it would to sponsor a bunch of teams.
That is very true.
Now you got 4 gateways and a PK. What else do you have or did you have?
We've got Grilla Grill's pellet cooker.
We had we just sold it. We had a
Davy Crockett.
It's not Davy Crockett anymore. GMG, the little portable one. It was used to be called the Davy Crockett. Then they changed the name to, I don't know. I forgot what it was.
We just sold that one.
We just sold that. Yeah.
And we got, we had 2 knockoff gateways from
I bought them from Joe Hewer.
Joe Hewer. He made them. So
Yeah.
we just sold those too,
Mm-hmm.
because gotta afford barbecue somehow.
Yeah. So and then we have our PK. Yeah, that's what we cook on.
Do you guys cater at all?
No.
We have had one catering gig for my old job. They bought the meat and supplies, and we
just cooked it.
we gave our time.
We cooked.
Donated our time.
How many kilos was it?
24 pork butts cooked over.
Okay, that's a lot of kilos or pounds or whatever.
We had all pork cans out in the driveway, and we cooked. It was something like
it was 24.
It was like 13 one day and 11 the next, or it was something like that. Yeah, and then we pulled it, and she took it up to work.
Mm-hmm.
But see, you get your food trailer or your food truck, you put your menu up, you go, instead of the pound, you put kilo on there.
That would be really clever marketing.
People might be expecting something different though if we said kilos.
That's very true.
Especially from the Crystal ship.
I've got a good buddy of mine, and he said that if we ever have a sauce, we need to call it Better Call Sauce.
Yes.
And he had another really good pun that I liked. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, the Better Call Sauce was. I thought that was good. That was really good.
Yes.
So you got all of us out here getting your marketing done. You don't even have to do anything.
Right.
Just buy the stuff and open up.
Planned that all along, didn't I? Yeah.
We've got the Swinenberg.
We got yeah.
One of my friends designed the Swinenberg for us.
Nice. The Hindenburg, yeah.
We really do think we have a unique look, right? We have a unique unique logo, unique team name. Not a lot of teams have green. And we've got black, green, and white. And yeah, no, we love it. We've been really, really lucky that we came up with that, and people actually liked it. I had these worries when we first rolled it out. It's like no one's gonna know about it. They're not gonna understand. It doesn't really rhyme exactly, but people picked up on it right away, and that makes us happy that people have recognized it.
Yeah,
good show.
It is. It really is.
It's awesome. So what are the big plans for Mother's Day weekend?
Not much. I know Zach's family's coming out because Zach's birthday is on Thursday. So it's always around Mother's Day. So
well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Charlie's in T-ball. So they're coming out for his T-ball game on Friday, gonna stay for Saturday. I don't know what we're doing Sunday.
We're gonna go eat out at we're gonna go to Buck Tooey on Saturday.
And we've got chicken practice on Sunday.
And we have chicken practice.
I forgot about
Sunday.
that.
Chicken thighs?
Yeah, I'll eat chicken thighs.
So how is T-ball going? Are you able to keep it under control with the coach from the sidelines?
It is so much fun. I do have to remind Zach that they're 4-year-olds.
Yep.
And Charlie was on first base this past week and stood a couple feet away from the first base and just stared at the runners.
Like he was playing first base and just would turn and stare at the runner that was on base, and they had to run around him when they advanced. It was just it drove me insane.
He never went after the ball. He just stood where he was told to stand and just watched everything.
He had a good game. He went 2 for 2.
It's easy to do because with 4-year-olds that everyone steps up to the plate and hits the ball, and none of them are coordinated enough to get anyone out.
Yep.
So once every kid has gone for a run, it's time for the second half of the inning.
I coached T-ball one year, and when I realized when I had 3 girls and they were riding their bats like brooms and like stick horses, that I completely lost track of my team. I was like, if I figured if I could get them to run the bases the right way, I was doing half the battle. It's fun. I consider it funny at that age.
My whole life, Katie knows this. Not a lot of people really know this. But I mean, before barbecue, baseball was a huge part of my life. And I coached Charlie was, I guess it was the fall before I coached an amateur team up here.
That was when I was pregnant.
Yeah, I coached I was player manager on a amateur ball club up here of 18 and 19-year-olds.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, it was difficult enough to get those guys to want to listen. I couldn't even fathom trying to coach 4-year-olds. But yeah.
Like herding cats.
So from baseball to barbecue, what got you into barbecue?
So when I started cooking barbecue, I guess it would have been about 20. I was in grad school. So I was working on my doctorate down at Oklahoma State, and I needed a stress reliever because grad school is like barbecue. It's incredibly competitive. You got to have the right mindset to do it if you want to succeed. And I needed some avenue to kind of take out stress, to kind of be creative, and just to have this release, right, from just the grind of getting a doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to cook. I think it's such a cliche, but I started watching Pitmasters. And I know there are so many guys out there that go, oh, I started cooking because I watched Pitmasters. And it's the truth with me. I watched season 1. I was blown away by this whole concept. Didn't really think about competition barbecue before that. And I went out and got myself a little cheap, like Brinkman smoker, like the knockoff Weber Smoky Mountain, modified a little bit. And I just started to cook. And in the beginning, I mean, it was terrible. I mean, it really was. I over smoked it. I had no fire control and all this kind of this, that, and the other. And I just kept cooking and cooking and cooking. And that's what got me into it. And then we didn't start competing until August of 2020. That was our first ever. It was non-sanctioned, but that was our first ever competition.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite barbecue restaurant?
In Kansas City or in the country?
Anywhere.
Anywhere is Slabs. I am team Slabs all the way.
Mine would be Joe's KC. I never get it anymore because someone doesn't like it, so I never get to eat it.
Just order it online.
They're also kind of far away,
Yeah,
out of my way,
Best barbecue I've ever had outside of KC is there is a place in South Carolina. I was in Columbia, South Carolina, and it's called True's. And they were outstanding, very South Carolina style. The mustard barbecue sauce and the hash. And I mean, really, they were to die for. I loved that place. Would love to go back there sometime and eat it again.
Nice.
So, one question before we let you go. Are you guys doing the shot and the Wild Child at Worlds?
I mean, we can. I feel like every time we have been in charge of the Wild Child, we've gotten a call. So it's almost a little superstitious at this point that we have to.
Yeah.
I was glad that you had the Gatorade ones because I had to explain to my wife that my son only had Gatorade for a shot instead of the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because there's kids.
Yes.
And there was, when we were at the Royal, I think, wasn't that during Lent? Because someone had given up alcohol for Lent. So they asked, like, oh, will there be non-alcohol? And I was like, yeah, sure, I got some Gatorade. We can put it out there.
No, the Royal was a really good time. It was nice seeing that many teams. I was happy with the tournament.
It was good. It was good.
Well, actually, we need to talk anyway about the Midwest Backyard Matters podcast also. I completely forgot on that one. So how is that? Well, that's May 17th, right?
Yeah, so we've already recorded our first episode of that. We record our second episode tomorrow night. And then we're going to try to record one more so that on the 17th, we will actually drop 3 episodes. Nice. And we are really happy with how that's going because this season we've gone to an all audio format. So we'll be on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, iHeartRadio. I can't remember where else, but most major platforms we will be on. And yeah, we're now just Backyard Matters because one thing, and shout out to my former co-host Ryan Kane, when we started it, it was really just meant to bring awareness to the backyard circuit in the Midwest. We wanted to grow it in the Midwest. We saw what was going on in the South. We saw what was going on in the Mid-Atlantic. And when you see comps in Oklahoma or wherever that had 4 teams or 6 teams, it drove us nuts. We could not understand why you could have a Masters comp be full every weekend, and you couldn't get 10 teams in a backyard. So that's how it started. It was solely meant for us to bring awareness to the backyard circuit in the Midwest. But what Ryan and I noticed that by the end of the season of the show, it had grown into something much bigger than I think we had anticipated. Yeah. We were not expecting it to be as successful as it became. And that really shows in the membership on the Facebook group. We just hit 3,100 members today, actually. And when you look at the people who are joining, it started off as Midwesterners. We get people from all over the country. We have people from the Northeast. We have people from the South. We have people from the West. I mean, everywhere. And it has really turned into this thing where we were not expecting it to be that way.
And I think we started to realize that this feeling that backyard was less than Masters is not just a feeling here in the Midwest, that all backyard teams are feeling like the redheaded stepchild. Like Zach said earlier.
I mean, Hess and I talk about it a lot. And it is it's a movement. It's a movement. I wouldn't call it a revolution exactly, but it's a movement. It's a movement that this isn't just about us in the Midwest. This is about all of us that want to highlight the quality of the teams that compete in backyard, who consciously choose to not go to Masters, but to stay in the backyard circuit. And it has really morphed into this thing that's bigger than we ever anticipated.
Yeah.
Well, with the exception of a few teams, I mean, even KCBS feels like Masters has all the. I mean, is there anybody? I know you were trying to run for the board. Is there anybody on the board that has any kind of backyard feelings at all? I mean, why is there no representation of backyard on the board?
Well, don't get me started on that. That's a different conversation. I'll get really angry if I get going on that one. Gotcha. I'm pretty much over it, but as you can tell, I'm not all the way over it. But I will say, without going into too much detail, that there are moves being made by KCBS right now from a board standpoint to examine backyard and to support it. Like I said, that is happening. Yeah. That makes me really pleased that they reached out to me. They reached out to some other backyarders, and they are beginning to actively consult with us on changes that we feel are necessary for KCBS to fully support backyard as a circuit, to not have it be overlooked, made fun of, treated lesser than. We're tired of it. I am incredibly outspoken about it. You guys know that. I am very quick to defend it, and it's really good to see KCBS officially beginning to understand that backyard is an incredibly important part of their membership base, and that it needs to be treated seriously. It needs to be treated with respect, so that people don't see it as the minors that just prepping guys to move up to the majors. That's the Masters.
Yeah. See, I agree. I think they should move the Royal backyard and add it to the actual American Royal, to where, I mean, you're there, you load in on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So why can't we have the backyard teams move in and have one day to cook up there and just get that whole feeling of what they put on?
Yeah, no, this is something I will say, Brian. I personally disagree. I like having the standalone because it really puts the spotlight only on backyard.
Yeah, good point.
Rules is one thing. You're not going to change that, and that's fine. But I think I like having the backyard royal. I just wish it was. I would like it to be later in the year. I would like it to be like May or June, personally.
Not cold and rainy.
Yeah, I think it needs to be moved. But I like it to be its own thing.
And
that's me.
I think making it a bigger deal like the regular Royal is. The backyard Royal is just
that would work for me too. Just more emphasis on it, like they do for the American Royal in the fall. Like just more.
Yeah.
It's going to take us all working together, Masters and backyard, to really showcase it, right? And it's going to take official moves, more going forward by KCBS to really promote it. I have my own feelings on how the American Royal has organized it. And communication has got to get better. It has got to get better. The communication is wretchedly awful.
It was 2 nights before, right? Weren't we discussing that? Maybe.
Yeah, we didn't hear until 2 nights before where spot assignments were. That's got to improve. That's got to improve. And
Cook's meeting time changed.
The Cook's meeting times changed 3 times. I could go on, but I won't because I'm on air. On just some little things that kind of were said and sentiments were expressed, and it irked me. And it just little things like happen like that. I double down. I doubled down on backyard.
Well, they said they had water, and I was like, "Sweet, where?" No water. Had to run like half a mile inside the building.
I don't hate the venue. I just think that if you're going to say something, you need to follow through. And I think you need to communicate with your teams better. And that's the great thing is that there are organizers that are totally into backyard. Lori Tweeton is one, and a bunch of others that I could name off and there are reps that the Tuttles, Bunny and Rich Tuttle, Rosemary and Phil Morrow, Larry and Linda Voth. I mean, those 3 couples are my absolute favorite reps in KCBS.
Yep.
And they are very understanding of backyard and supporting it. From what Bunny Tuttle told me, spoiler alert, is she will be wearing a Backyard Matters shirt when she reps Worlds in August.
Nice.
So that made me feel really good, right? Like big time repped a lot of big competitions on the master side of things, and they understand the importance of backyard as a circuit, as a legitimate, competitive circuit within KCBS.
Yeah. Not everybody can cook a brisket.
No, and I love to cook brisket. I mean, I just think there needs to be standardization of rules. I think they need to figure out there needs to be official GCs and RGCs for backyard that I have never understood that. Then there needs to be a team of the year chase. A points chase, not just a category chase. Have the category chases, but have a team of the year chase like you do in Masters.
Yep.
And another big one, and I'll shout this from the rooftops, there needs to be a name change. There needs to be a name change. I think that's step 1 of changing perception. And that's why Ryan and Travis Farthing, I can't take credit for the Facebook group. That was Ryan and Travis Farthing. They started that group. I got brought on as an admin, and Hess got brought on as admin after that. They get all the credit in the world for starting it there. That's where it really started. Then the show came about with me and Ryan. We felt like it was the natural extension, of the Facebook group. We had enough interaction, and we said, why don't we do like a podcast? Why don't we do a show that's the only show that is at least regularly devoted during the season and even a little bit after to just backyard?
Yeah.
We only cover backyard, and our new format of the show is going to continue to do that, where we will cover just backyard. I cannot think of any show that regularly does that in barbecue. I can't, and we hang our hat on that.
Yeah.
We're proud of that, and we'll fight for it as much as we have to. But there needs to be a name change. You will not dissuade me of that. It should have never been named Backyard, never. But it was, and here we are. But I think going forward, these are concrete things that I think we can take steps towards to change the perception. And that's why we did this, is to change perception. And I think we're doing that. Backyard attendance has gone up. I'm tickled to death that's going on. The conversation is happening. There is regular communication between the Midwest and the other regions about what we can all do together. Put aside the regional rivalries and think about the bigger picture. That's really made me happy to do. There are board members that are really starting to take notice. There are masters teams that are taking notice, and that's huge. And I can't thank, I'm going to give a shout out to Josh Farley and to Ashton. I mean, big masters team that have really thrown their support behind what we're trying to do with backyard. And then they do something like the bandit camp. They get all the credit in the world for that. I mean, to host a free class and mock competition with actual CBJs, for me, that's a game changer. And they deserve all credit in the world for doing that. Didn't charge a dime for it. They had it. They will continue to have it. We're hoping it gets bigger. We participated in the last 2 years. And really, that's just one example. There are others, but really, I wanted to make sure to highlight them because that, for me and other backyarders, I mean, we can't express our thankfulness that a team like them, individuals like them, and they're just great people anyway, that they would support it to that level. And it's going to continue to grow. So really, like I said, all praise in the world goes to those two.
And it was a great class. I took that class. It was amazing.
Just hoping for nicer weather next year.
Yeah. It was a little rainy.
Great people, great team, phenomenal competitors. They have a great resume. Won some of the biggest comps in the country, have participated in some of the biggest comps in the country. And for them to be willing to not have a disdain towards backyard, that means everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That was definitely, I couldn't believe it when I heard they were doing it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. We are the biggest fans of them, really.
Actually, she commented, and Ashton said, that's how I'm spending my Mother's Day, too. Full comp cook.
Yeah, they've got made for KC, too. They got to get ready for it.
They're not cooking it separately anymore, but they are cooking it.
Yeah. No, they're not. Yeah, there's going to be torches and pitchforks at their front door on that one. Like I said, they're friends of ours, and we're proud to call them as such. And we're like I said, they're just one example. There are others I could give you. There are other, Charles Cridlin is a friend of mine, mentor of mine, and Brian Miller, Mad Mutts, really those guys, Joel Fleetwood, another friend of mine, Smoking Magic. Yeah, those are big time masters teams that understand the value of backyard, and they're taking steps accordingly to promote it. Yeah.
I've mentioned the 350 pin. I still think that'd be a good one to do.
I agree. Except it should be 360 because that's half of the 720. Isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, 180. Yeah.
So it should be a 360 pin.
I had to take college algebra 3 times, so don't ask me.
There needs to be a 360 pin.
Yeah, I mean, I could take that or leave it personally. I think the big thing is really to have a team of the year points.
Yeah.
Chase, figure out qualifiers. Yeah, I benefited from a category win to qualify for Worlds, but I still believe it should be GCs and RGCs for backyard. I think it just doesn't make any sense to me personally to have two different sets of rules. Okay, so it's the same sanctioning body. Why do you have two different set of qualifiers? I mean, these are things that I think we can work on to standardize.
Yeah.
Okay? And just you have a 4 meet and you have a 2 meet. That's it.
Yep. I completely. Because as of a few years ago, there wasn't even a point chase at all for backyard, was there? This is a fairly new thing.
No. And I don't know when backyard started. But yeah. There have been some changes over time that have been positive, but and I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this. There are definite changes that I think need to be initiated.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Conversations need to be had, hard conversations. And yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard when I'm going to go cook KCBS backyard, they're like, oh, so you're just going to go cook some backyard meat that you cook in your backyard and take it to the thing? I'm like, no, it is nothing like a backyard.
Yeah.
My backyard cooking.
Yeah, and I'm tired of this feeling like, oh, you hear it all the time. You guys hear it, I'm sure. Oh, are you ready to move up?
Yep.
You're ready to move up? And I feel like there's some pressure. I feel like there's pressure that sometimes Masters teams place on the very, very good backyard teams. Like, okay, you're done playing with the children. Now move up with the big boys. I see that it's going on this season. I won't name names, but it's going on this season. And it just irks the crap out of me on that. Look at all these teams in Alabama and Georgia and the Carolinas that they will never do Masters, but they're just as talented as a lot of Masters teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of so-called Masters teams go out there and get their asses completely whipped on a weekend.
Like our first Masters.
Like our first, yeah. Our first Masters. We were 96 out of like 104 teams. We were by no means a Masters team.
Yeah.
Was
it?
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
It was Sterling or it was OG Bandits? Brad, you might remember. One of them said that they could take any backyard. Well, most of our backyard teams, they will go cook ribs right next to them, and they would guarantee that some of those teams in the backyard would even beat them. Just because, I mean,
we the Juneteenth rib comp. We were right next to Smoking Magic, Black Magic at the time, and there were a couple. It was probably half Masters cooks in there.
Yeah.
And we got second place.
Yeah.
I mean,
there were really good cooks there.
I mean, it's just pork and brisket that we're not cooking, and I mean, who wants to spend another $400?
I'm starting to see not a lot of, but in the Midwest anyway. And I'm sure maybe it's elsewhere, but I know in the Midwest, I'm starting to see more 3 meats for backyard.
See, I wouldn't mind them adding a third meat.
We're doing Westmont in a couple weeks as a 3 meat, and Osceola.
What's your third meat?
Pork.
See, I wouldn't mind that. And like you said, do the team of the year, the points chase, change the name. I mean, give it the emphasis that it deserves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like doing the 3 meat, and I'll tell you why. Because it becomes like Masters, it becomes an averages game.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like playing the averages. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy the 2 meat, but when I go 3, I go, okay, if I can be consistently high in 3, my average will be that much better, and I'll be in the running.
Yep.
Like I said, that doesn't make me want to cook a 4th exactly. And I'm not here to knock Masters. Okay, I'm not saying that all the Masters guys are jerks. I'm not saying that.
No, not at all.
What I am saying is that backyard deserves its due.
Yep.
And that's what we are trying to accomplish. That's what Josh Hess and I are set out to accomplish. That's what Ryan Kane and I initially started to accomplish. And I think we're seeing the results. there are fruits to our labors that we're beginning to reap. And that's and where it can really where it shows is in backyard attendance.
Yep.
Well, that's like that post I made in the group. It wasn't in no means for Robert. It was honestly a joke that I was like, this dude's killing it. But what it makes me want to do is practice harder to beat him, not.
Sure.
And Ryan, I saw Ryan's comment, and I actually sent him a message. I said, no, I did not mean that in any way, shape, or form. It was that dude's killing it. Let me just go ahead and.
No, I mean
he's a hell of a rib cook.
No,
he is good.
Good dude, a phenomenal cook. I don't think there's a hotter team in backyard right now.
Nope. And good for him, but makes you want to work harder.
Yeah, he's just very dialed in.
And that is Zach said that is one of our private goals this year is to beat Robert at a comp.
Hollywood, Robert Hollywood.
No offense to Robert, we love you, but we want to beat you.
I had that with Missler last year, and I finally beat him in one category in Ashland. He won the grand, but I got the first place chicken call. So secretly and privately, I was like, yes. But that's what I love about it, though. I mean, I can have those private goals, and like I said, I mean no harm to him. He can be in backyard. Yeah. I mean, I don't. It does. We're at the end of the game. I've realized I have a very stressful work job. I'm here to have fun. It's my escape from my 9-to-5 job.
The comps where we have fun, we score much better than the comps where we're stressed and focused on where we're focused on trying to win. We don't do so when we're focused on having fun.
Well, my goal now is to beat Zach in ribs.
Come at me, bro. No, we put together a really great cook that weekend.
Yeah. No, it's phenomenal though, and it does. I don't think even before before backyard, it was just all pro series. I never had a first place ribs. I've had top 5 calls, but I've never had a first place.
Yeah, that is our first place.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, man, I want to do that. I want to beat him now. I want to get that first. And to me, it's just competition, and we're all there to have fun and do it together.
No, you have to. I tell people this a lot that will message me. I don't know why they message me, but they will. But I'll tell them, like, really, you need to go have fun, and that's something that I forget about a lot. Right? I take it very seriously. It's a huge part of our life. I get very obsessed with it, right?
Yep.
I mean, almost to my detriment. But you have to have a competitive attitude.
Yeah.
There is a mental side of this thing. You got to be like a rhino, right? You got to put your head down and keep charging forward and have thick skin. All right?
Yeah.
You have to, because you are going to get knocked. And people, for whatever reason, on their cooking, either at home or in a competition, it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's something that you make from scratch, right? It's like a baby. You raise it up and then you turn it in, right? It's just something that's very, very, very intimate about it, right? And when you have a complete stranger go, this isn't good enough, it hurts. It hurts, right? But you got to keep cooking. And I think the number one person who has taught us the mental side, I mean, more than anybody, is Josh Hess. Mm-hmm. Josh Hess is so good about breaking it down, picking himself back up, and trying to teach as much as one can the mental aspect of the competition.
Yeah.
And
he's a gracious winner and a good loser.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, he really is. I've seen people, oh man, I could tell you stories about people I've competed against that have had screaming fits, crying fits, cussing, blaming everybody, but except looking at themselves on what maybe went wrong themselves on their cook that day. I can't stand people like that. It makes me definitely not want to be around them.
I had one do that to me, and I was like, sauce your ribs, don't turn them in dry. That I mean, I'm not going to tell you everything, but that was one of the things. I'm just like, now for me coming back into it, I'm just like, I'm just having fun. I know what happened to my ribs at the Royal. I turned away, walked away, went and talked, and had fun.
Our very first competition, very first one. Okay, we did the Holy Smoke in Liberty, non-sanctioned, yeah. And there was a team next to us that thought they were going to do really well, and they didn't. And this guy went back, and I mean, Katie can back me up on this. I mean, he cried. He was visibly angry, and
he was blaming the judges.
Yeah.
He emailed the organizer to question the judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember thinking then, like I said, first one out the gate, I thought, I never, ever want to be like that. Like,
yeah.
If we get to the point where even though it's a huge part of our identity as a couple, as a family, as competitors, it's a big part of our life, right? We devote so much time and money and everything to this thing, right? We're in. But if it gets to the point where I'm going to have to be put into a straitjacket and tossed into a rubber room, then it's no longer worth it. You know, yep. I've got other things I can focus on, right? I got to scale back. Oh, I'll go on my rants. Oh, I'll be down in the dumps and negative Nancy. I will. But usually, and she can back me, it usually takes me about a day and I'm right back on it. And Hess has been really great about talking me through it. We'll kind of have postmortems, privately. I talked to him on the phone today about his day 2 in Kannapolis over the weekend, and we just kind of broke it down. And I just asked him what happened in this, and he's very honest. He's not one who's going to point fingers at the judges. He always goes, it was something I did. It's something I can change. And I will say I've been very good about not, even if I hit a table of death, I will always say, what do I need to do personally as a competitor to do better? What do I need to change? Do I need to change anything? Whatever. And he's been, I can't sing his praises enough on great cook anyway, but the mental side of it, he is so good. He's so good.
That's the one thing I learned from the Royal, because last year it was everything I turned in was good. Why is this not? And then I knew I didn't hit my marks at the Royal. I knew when I turned it in, it was not my best food. So when the judges don't score you accordingly, well, that's just how it goes. I mean, usually the cream rises to the top.
It really is. You can hit an angel table. You can hit the table of death. The Royal, we had good product. And we also hit a good table. Turn around the next week in Altoona, hit a death table, big time, and so it's just the way it goes sometimes. And that's just one of those things where you just have to roll with those punches.
Yeah.
That's very true. I mean, could things be improved with judging? I'm sure, but I mean, until there's a better system, it is what it is.
I am a real big fan of what Childs is trying to do with the seating program. I believe in it. I don't know why there is such pushback on it. I see that almost as more of a generational resistance to change. I think technology has to be embraced. I think CBA has shown that technology and innovation in technology when it comes to competition barbecue is a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yep.
I don't understand why people bring out the torches and pitchforks on the utilization of technology to improve. I don't. That's something that I think KCBS, Masters, Backyard, Ancillaries, whatever, it has to move forward with the times, because if it doesn't, it's a bleak future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, CBA, their judges have smartphones. It's all on an app. They hit a button and it gets tabulated.
Yep. Button, it's in.
And from what I understand, I've never cooked CBA. I know people who have. There's teams have the app too, and everything is real time. Mm-hmm. So they bring up their app and they can see it right there.
Oh, wow.
And that's something I really dig, right? I really like. I feel like that's something that that could be used. If one organization that is not as big as KCBS can do, then why can't KCBS do that? And like I said, I am not here. I know it seems like I'm bashing KCBS. I'm not. We won't compete with anybody else. Okay. But if I see a problem that I think needs improvement, especially in the way of protecting backyard, all right, I am ruthlessly protective of it, and have devoted so much time and energy and money to it, then I cannot be silenced and not speak up and say, okay, here's what I see, and this is what I think should personally be done.
Yep.
You know, I don't consider myself an influencer. I don't. I really don't. I just see myself as a part of the machine, and I want the machine to run right. And I think there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way.
Oh, I completely agree. I would.
Yep.
Backyard needs to get the due diligence. It's been long overlooked.
Yeah. It matters, right? And that's where the name came from. You know, Ryan coined the name, the phrase "backyard matters."
Yep.
And I remember when he said that, it resonated with me because it matters.
You have a website or something for any of the shirts or hats or?
So that's yeah.
It's still in the working phases. There is a website. I think it's backyardmatters.org. It might be backyard-matters.org.
I think it's backyardmatters.org. Yeah.
I think it's backyardmatters.org.
We were not prepared for that question.
No, it's still in the design phases, so it doesn't look very pretty right now. And
is that where they go to buy the shirts if they want any?
Yeah. So in the Facebook group, the Midwest Backyard Facebook group, there should be a link pinned to the top.
Okay.
It's a bonfire link.
Okay.
To buy products, and there is a link on the website. And I'm sure we'll post the website in that Facebook group once it's good to go. It's it's not pretty.
Right now, all of our energy has been devoted. I mean, we have daily conversations, the three of us. And
all good. I just want people, if they want anything, to have a way to find it quick and easy for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can after this is over, I can go in and comment on your thing.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, like I said, we're trying to always think of new merchandise to create. She created the chicken and pig Backyard Matters.
And the 922 shirt.
And the 922 shirt is her. And like I said, of course, the original design credit goes to Ryan Kane on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, please do consider buying that merchandise, because really all proceeds 100% go towards the show, towards the promotion of the show. And like I said, you guys are very gracious in sponsoring us this year.
Yes.
Thank you again, so much for that. You understand what we're trying to do.
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, May 17th we'll have at least two episodes to drop. We're hoping on a third.
Nice.
Yeah. If we can promote backyard
any
way we can.
How about a new shirt? Barbecue smoke, real men's cologne.
I'll work on it.
We try to come up with things like that. We'll kind of just like every so often we'll spitfire ideas. Like the 922 shirt, it just kind of came to her, and I was like, "That's a really
full of it." I can give you guys some of my stuff that I've done if you want to promote it and sell it for the show. I mean, just let me know. I've got lots of them. I got a little notepad I keep writing stuff down.
Yeah. Well, when you run out of paper, buy the Backyard Matters notepad that we have for sale on the website. So little shameless plug for one of our products. But yeah, mostly it's apparel. But we do have that. We have a tote bag too, for take to comp or whatever. But yeah.
Nice.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show and giving up your Monday night. So.
Oh no!
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Can't wait for when your podcast drops. I'll definitely be listening to it.
Yep, noon on the 17th. We'll have at least 2 episodes drop that day.
Do we have a link for it at all, like in your website or in your Facebook page?
Not yet on the Facebook page.
If you search like wherever you get your podcasts and search Backyard Matters.
I just want, if there's something that like you guys post to let people know, I just want to be able to get on and share that out
We'll
too.
for sure on the 17th, send out the link.
Okay.
Because I mean, we'll already have it recorded and edited and all the sound and stuff done.
The trailer is posted to all of the podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Amazon,
Spotify,
iHeartRadio.
Yep. I saw that already.
And
Or
I
I
think,
heard that.
you can go on, I think you can go on like Spotify and share it from Spotify if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, we're still working on that. We just wanted to get the meat and potatoes done before we started to really amp up our social media presence and our website presence. Because, like I said, all the sponsors are going to be highlighted, and we'll be running commercials during the show for the different sponsors and different stuff like that. It'll be a traditional podcast.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Good luck the rest of the year and all the comps.
Yeah, you guys too. We'll see you. We'll see you here soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.